Perfect. Good afternoon, Ontario. My name is Stephen Schroeder, co-CEO of Napoleon, and I'm happy to welcome everyone to Napoleon in beautiful Barrie, Ontario. We are honored today to host Premier Doug Ford and Minister of Economic Development, Doug Fideli, and President of CME, Dennis Darby. From all of us here, we want to welcome everyone, and we appreciate the time you're spending with us during this challenging year. At Napoleon, we are very fortunate to have an amazing team who make products that enhance everyday living in your home. COVID has supercharged our passion to bring value to you, whether it be by turning on your fireplace to help melt the stress away at the end of a hard day, or making the perfect meal for your family on your Napoleon iconic grill, all the while being comfortable with your Napoleon ultra high efficiency furnace and air conditioner. Napoleon has built its roots in Canada. This is where it all started, and we are proud to call Ontario our home. But we are also thrilled that we've really exploded on the international scene, shipping to over 69 countries and counting, all from hometown Barrie. When consumers from Sweden to Dubai use our products, they think Canada stands for high quality. Now, I'll invite my brother, Chris Schroeder, who is our other co-CEO, to say a few words.
Thank you, Stephen. Our associates are proud to produce in and represent Canada on a global scale. Our team members have gone above and beyond the call of duty during this pandemic. On March 23rd, Napoleon closed its plants to comply with COVID-19 lockdown requirements. We were bursting with pride when some of our 900 skilled associates supported a neighboring manufacturer to meet the surging demand for medical equipment. Back in our operations, safety protocols were developed, and once the return to work was permitted, we once again began manufacturing. With the new way of doing things, we quickly returned to our highly productive levels while still ensuring individual and family safety. We keep our protocols very strict for the safety of our team members and the greater community. We are fortunate that we have an unprecedented demand for our home products. And to keep up, we have hired over 200 new full-time associates since June alone. This brings our Napoleon family count in Ontario to just over 1,100 total. Doug, Vic, Dennis, you likely have some Napoleon products at home, just like many other Ontarians and Canadians. We always appreciate your support, and together we will get through this challenging time. Now, I would like to invite Premier Doug Ford up for a special announcement.
Well, first of all, thank you, Chris and Stephen. And I'm going to introduce you to some folks after we speak. Ingrid and Wolfgang, the founders of the company, and Stephen and Chris's parents. But I have to tell you, you have the manufacturing here, and what you have started, Wolfgang, here at Napoleon is just top-notch. You have a top-notch product, top-notch teams. And a big shout-out, again, for the founder, which you'll meet in a minute. This company was founded in 1976. Real interesting story, which we'll explain in a moment, folks. But Napoleon makes world-class barbecues, fireplaces, and home heating and cooling systems, all right here in Ontario. So I'm so thrilled to be up here in beautiful Barrie today to visit a true Ontario success story. I'm here with my all-star Economic Development Minister, Vic Fideli, our local champions, Attorney General Doug Downey, and MPP Andrea Khanjin, along with Mayor Jeff Lima. And Mayor, you're doing a great job. And Dennis Darby of the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters. We're all here today to celebrate Ontario manufacturing, because we all know Ontario-made products are second to none. Those who work in manufacturing are family, friends, and neighbors. They make world-class products. If the crisis has taught us anything, is that there's nothing we can't accomplish, there's nothing we can't manufacture when we work together. Over the past few months, we've seen thousands of manufacturing companies step up with Ontario-made solutions to the challenges we face. It's absolutely incredible and an incredible story. As I always say, there's nothing. We have the brightest and best people anywhere in the world right here in Ontario, right here in Canada. Hundreds retooled to make critical medical supplies, everything from ventilators to face shields to hand sanitizer. Hundreds ramped up production, added shifts, secured our supply chains, and hired more workers to keep store shelves stocked. And most important of all, our manufacturers took steps to protect their workers and customers and make their factories as safe as possible to prevent outbreaks. I want to thank all of our manufacturers and businesses for everything they've done to lead the way through these challenging times. That's the true Ontario spirit. My friends, Ontario is a manufacturing powerhouse around the world. We can make anything right here in this province, and we should be proud of that, and we are proud of it. We need to support the local home team, as I always say, because Ontario businesses came through for us when we needed them most. And now we have a chance to return the favor. Support local factories and businesses in our communities. Support the hardworking men and women who make everything from baby wipes to barbecues, from cosmetics to cars. These items are produced right here in Ontario by skilled and talented workers who live in our neighborhoods. By purchasing Ontario-made, we can put billions of dollars back into our economy and start our province down the road to recovery. We launched the Ontario-made program several months ago, but that was only the beginning. Today, I'm proud and very excited to announce the launch of the second phase of the Ontario-made program. This is a program driven by good people at the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters. They have rolled up their sleeves and put up the logo and labels. So when you see those logos and labels, folks, that logo for Ontario Made, go out there and buy local. That makes it a lot easier for shoppers to tell what products are produced here and what products are produced somewhere else in the world. And to date, they have registered, these are great numbers by the way, they've registered over 4,600 products from 1,200 Ontario manufacturers. That's 4,600 quality Ontario-made products made in our communities, supporting jobs locally and available for purchase in many, many retailers across our province. There are also over 150 retailers across the province who have registered to promote these products in their stores. And to help you and your family find these wonderful Made in Ontario products, CME launched their website in July, and now they're expanding it with a new consumer directory. The directory can be found at supportontariomade.ca. That's supportontariomade.ca. I encourage everyone to use this new guide, find the retailers of your choice, and take home the highest quality products anywhere in the world. So the next time you're out at the store, please look for the Ontario Made logo or sticker. Support your local businesses and help build a stronger and more prosperous future for everyone. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll hand it over to Minister Fedeli.
Thank you, Premier Ford. Just a few months ago, we teamed up with the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters to launch the Ontario Made program. We unveiled the new Ontario Made branding and put the call out to our world-class manufacturers to register their products on supportontariomade.ca. As the Premier has mentioned, we were not disappointed by the remarkable response we received. Ontario's manufacturing sector, truly the economic engine of Canada, has never been more important. At the outset of this pandemic, they stepped up with their innovative ideas. They retooled their production lines to produce more food, personal protective equipment for our frontline workers, and other essential supplies in our time of need. And our manufacturing sector will continue to be essential to Ontario's economic recovery. In September alone, an increase of nearly 52,000 manufacturing jobs now means that 17,000 more people work in manufacturing than before COVID, proving that even in times of pandemic,
the job creation engine of our province remains strong. But there's still more work to be done, and every single one of us can do our part. In a recent poll, 73% of Ontarians said they already try to purchase Canadian-made products. And since COVID-19, 56% of Ontarians said they would try to purchase domestic goods more often. To date, as the Premier said, over 1,200 manufacturers have registered over 4,600 products for the Ontario Made program. Retailers across the province are participating in Ontario Made in-store promotions. So now consumers can quickly and easily identify Made in Ontario products online or in-store. The people of Ontario can now use your purchasing power to support local businesses, local jobs right in your own communities, and help the economy recover from the impacts of COVID-19. So businesses have already enthusiastically stepped up to partner with the Canadian manufacturers and exporters on this project. Partners like Napoleon, which are proudly promoting the Ontario Made program on their incredible products made right here in Barrie, which you can see on their barbecues behind us today. Or Home Hardware. They feature in-store signage to promote Ontario-made Beauty Tone paint in all of their locations province-wide. The Ontario-made logo can be seen on products ranging from PepsiCo soft drinks to beverages at Cowbell Brewery in Blythe and Top Shelf Distillers in Perth. Ontario is home to some of the world's greatest manufacturers, providing good jobs for over 750,000 workers. When you buy Ontario Made, you are doing more than simply shopping. You are supporting Ontario jobs, Ontario business, and Ontario families in communities all across the province. And that's why we continue to encourage both businesses and shoppers to participate in the Ontario Made program. As the Premier said, visit supportonteriomade.ca to see how you can qualify for the Ontario Made logo or connect with local businesses for Made in Ontario products. We all have a role to play in making sure we emerge from COVID-19 a stronger, more self-reliant province. And we thank the CME for leading this very important initiative. Again, we encourage retailers and the people of Ontario to continue to show their Ontario spirit by purchasing goods made right here at home. And we'll now pass it over to the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters CEO, Dennis Darby. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you, Premier, thank you, Minister, for supporting the Ontario Made program. And thank you, Napoleon, for hosting us today and for championing Ontario Made. And we're thrilled at the response from manufacturers like you. The Support Ontario Made CA site has already had over 30,000 unique visits, and I think after today, we expect it should go up very, very quickly. The program has had companies of all shapes and sizes register their products. Everything from beauty and personal care products, clothing and accessories, constructions and home renovations, food and beverage, health and medical, office and garden, industrial and automotive, pet supplies, sports and recreation, and all kinds of technology. And our searchable database allows consumers to look across different product categories and to search using keywords to find any product type. So new product listings will be posted on a regular basis, and so if you're a manufacturer, get your products registered. And notable companies like Napoleon, who include everyone from PepsiCo to FCA Automotive to Labatt, Mill Street Brewery, Kimberly-Clark, Procter & Gamble, Black Diamond, Astro, Beatrice, among other brands, General Motors, Kerr's Candy, Dr. Edgar, and as the Minister said, Home Hardware with their Beauty Tone paints. And we're asking consumers to encourage their favorite retailers to help promote program by showcasing the Ontario Made logo and carrying Ontario Made products in the stores. And it is really about being proud about what we make in Ontario to sell to our friends, but what we sell to the world. So this announcement not only marks the launch of Ontario Made searchable consumer database, but also the launch of our Did You Know social media campaign highlighting interesting facts about Ontario manufacturing and putting a spotlight on all different kinds of innovative Ontario products. So we'll be sharing the Did You Know facts through our social media channels on a weekly basis, as well as a monthly e-newsletter. We're encouraging consumers to follow us on social media and subscribe to our newsletter as a great resource to follow along with a sheer variety of did you know facts about products made here by your friends and neighbors. Our website, supportontario.ca, I hope you remember that after hearing it so many times today. We have all the details to subscribe to our newsletter. We encourage you to use the hashtag Ontario Made and support Ontario Made whenever you spot an Ontario Made product in a store. I personally have already learned about so many manufacturers, fantastic manufacturers, that most people had no idea produce great products right here in Ontario. I'm truly excited on behalf of all the manufacturers in Ontario and across Canada, and I hope all of you have that same experience. So with that, I'm pleased to turn it over to His Worship, the Mayor of Barrie, Jeff Lehman, to say a few words.
Well, good afternoon, Premier, Ministers. Welcome to Napoleon. We are so proud of this company here in Barrie. COVID has required all of us to adapt and innovate, and whether it is in the public or private sector, I wanted to start today, Premier, by thanking you for the spirit of collaboration with which you've approached the way we've all had to change policy and programs to support our business community here in Ontario. There's been tremendous work done across the public and private sectors, and Minister Downey, our Attorney General, with his work to crash modernize the justice system. There are so many examples of tremendous work being done right now. And we see it around us here in the private sector at one of Barrie's leading manufacturers. Premier, Minister Fedeli mentioned the job numbers recently, and I'm so proud of this community. I'm proud to say that for the 6th month in a row, Statistics Canada has reported that Barrie has the highest employment rate of any city in the country. This is a community that continues to generate jobs in a manufacturing sector that has adapted to the challenges of COVID and remained committed to their workforce. But we know there are going to be tough days ahead. We know that the economic challenges of COVID continue. And it is programs like Ontario Made that will allow that Ontario spirit, as you referenced, to rally around our own producers, for people to be able to be part of that economic success by buying local, by buying Ontario. Napoleon manufactures things that are also in particular need during COVID. I might mention patio heaters, but the products that are made here stand for quality, and the remarkable success story of the Schroeder family continues as they add jobs and continue to innovate to respond to COVID. So I want to thank Premier, yourself and the government for this partnership with CME, for the work that you're doing to try and support that opportunity for people to really be thoughtful about how they spend their money and support Ontario manufacturers. I think it's a wonderful step forward to be able to give people that information, to know how their dollars can go into supporting jobs in our communities. So thank you so much for visiting Barrie today, for coming to one of our leading manufacturers here in Napoleon for this announcement. And I wish you the very best for your continued work as we try and support manufacturing here in Ontario during COVID. It's now my pleasure to welcome Minister Doug Downey.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon. And I'd like to thank everyone for joining us here in the riding of Barrie Springwater Oromadante, just a little bit north of Barrie Innisfil, and my colleague and friend, Andrea Kanjan. We're proud to be one of the engines of Ontario's manufacturing sectors. Napoleon is a tremendous example of the world-class products that our region produces each and every day. In fact, it's a success story I shared in my inaugural speech in the legislature as a brand new MPP. The knowledge and expertise of our region's skilled workforce drives the success of our exports across Canada and around the world. Ontarians recognize the quality of products that we produce here, both in the province and where we export. And we also want to support businesses that create jobs in their local communities, but we don't always know where to find them. Now, Ontarians will be able to go online to easily find more of our products in one place and support local jobs and employers at supportontario.made.ca. During these challenging times, so many of our region's workers and businesses have stepped up by innovating, ramping up, or shifting their production lines to produce more food, personal protective equipment, and other essential supplies. As a government, we are determined to continue supporting workers and businesses at every opportunity during Ontario's recovery. It is always the right time to make the conscious choice to purchase Ontario-made goods and services, and support OntarioMade.ca will give Ontarians even more opportunities to help. Thank you. Merci. Megwetch.
So, Christine, before I start, I have to introduce you to the founders. I was reading the story. They have kind of a one-pager on their company, and Ingrid and Wolfgang, if you want to come over here and say hello to the folks. But I love your strategy there, Wolfgang. You built a wood stove for your in-laws. There's no better way to get in the good books with in-laws than building a wood stove, obviously. So congratulations, and you did an amazing job raising your two boys and coming up with a company that's over 1 million square feet, 5 locations, producing the furnaces, heating and air conditioning, and also the gas fireplaces and other fireplaces. It's just and don't forget the barbecues. Buy a barbecue, that's for sure. I give you my word, I'm going to buy one of your barbecues.
All right.
Okay,
Good.
but anyways, if you want to say a couple words, Wolfgang, are you fine?
Well,
Please.
I'd just like to thank all our customers out in Ontario. They supported us for so many years, so thank you very much.
That's great. Thank you, Ingrid, and thank you, Wolfgang. Real true success story here, and what the mayor was saying is true. Lowest unemployment anywhere in Ontario, if not Canada, and we need people. I'm hearing it more and more, not only from this riding, but other ridings saying we need people. We need to hire more people. So, folks, you're looking for a job, you're looking for one of the most beautiful communities anywhere in Ontario, come to Innisfil, come to Barrie, and a message to you, Mayor, and Barrie and Innisfil. Let's get those homes built until people can move up here and fill all the jobs, and you need any support from the province on getting the red tape and regulations out of the way, by all means, give us a call. So we're ready for the questions.
We'll go to the phone line for questions, please. First question.
First question comes from Brett Glover at Barrie 360. Please
Hi.
go ahead.
How you
Thank
doing,
you. Premier Ford, welcome back to Barrie.
Yeah, it's great to be here, always.
Now, there's no secret that some of Barrie's manufacturers have done fairly well despite the pandemic. Napoleon, a great example, but I could go on and on.
Yeah.
With over 70% of Ontario folks telling the CME that they're already trying to buy Canadian as it is, I got to play devil's advocate here and ask if this new Ontario-made directory is even necessary. How will it encourage more people to buy local? Is it worth the time, money, and effort put into it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when we're all walking down your local hardware store, local retail store, I truly believe, I've never seen patriotism run so high ever in my life here in Ontario and Canada. And if you look at that maple leaf, you look at the logo, please buy a product. You see it on all the Napoleon products, but do you know where else you see it? On companies, and I've given them shout outs before, no matter if it's Nestle's on their chocolate bar or Frito-Lay, the bags of chips. And it really differentiates between you're supporting your neighbors, your friends and families, or supporting someone overseas. I like supporting friends, family, and neighbors. And when you can, let's please just support, buy Canadian, buy Ontario-made products. And I think it's a great success story right across the province of all these companies we're visiting. And I always say we have the brightest and best minds anywhere in the world. We can produce absolutely anything.
Follow up.
To Premier, we're still getting plenty of reports of individuals and businesses still flouting the rules, even as COVID numbers plateau. Restaurants here in Barrie serving booze after 11 in some cases, but we're not hearing of any real punitive measures being handed out. When's the hammer going to come down, Premier?
Well, yeah, and we have the inspectors going out. Last time I checked, there was about 26,000 inspections across the province. We can and we will ramp it up as we move to the next stage here. But I truly believe the vast majority of the people are following the guidelines. You're gonna get some bad actors out there that are not following the guidelines. That's not a good situation. They will be fined. If someone sees that, call the Ministry of Labor. We'll have inspectors over there. But right now, I know the inspectors are going by and supporting and educating people, because I truly believe that the owners, be it restaurants or other businesses, want to do a great job, just like they do here at Napoleon, making sure that the employees have the proper PPE and following the guidelines and protocols, because it doesn't benefit any company when their staff gets sick. So I truly believe everyone's really pulling their weight.
Next question.
Next question comes from Natasha MacDonald at Radio Canada. Please go ahead.
Hi, Natasha. How you doing?
Hi, Premier. We're learning today that the Canadian Christian College gave hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans to the McVitie family. I know your government keeps saying it's waiting for the independent review, but if the board rejects the application, will your government still go forward with the legislation? And why did you feel the need to legislate before the end of that process?
Again, we aren't going to proclaim the legislation until everything goes through the proper processes. We're going to follow the procedures like we do to anyone else, and that's the only fair thing to do. So let's get through the PCAB process. Let's see what happens, then we'll make a decision from there.
Follow-up.
You said the modeling, on another topic, you said the modeling presented later today will show numbers trending downward, yet this week Toronto's French Public School Board, via Monde, sent a memo to all its teachers asking them for the first time since school started to get prepared in the case of an imminent switch to online learning only. Is this something parents can expect happening in the next weeks?
Well, that's going to be up to each individual school board, and I know some might go the hybrid way and some not, but hey, I want to thank all the school boards. I want to thank the principals and the teachers and our Minister Lecce. We said at the beginning of this, it's the best plan in the country. Knock on wood, things can change, and I never get overconfident, but it's proven to be the best plan in the entire country. We haven't had any lockdowns for last, I think, 3 or 4 days, which is great news. But it's the schools are open, the parents love it, the kids love it, seeing their friends, and so the system's working. And again, I give all the credit to the frontline teachers and principals and school boards. They're doing a great job.
Next question.
And parents. I gotta add in parents too. Parents are doing a fabulous job as well.
Next question.
From Lucas Meyer at News Talk 1010. Please go ahead.
How you doing, Lucas?
Hi, Premier. Thank you very much. I want to go back to comments you made yesterday when asked about gyms and the modified Stage 2 period ending early next month. At this point, are you anticipating the regions in modified Stage 2 will go back to Stage 3 once the 28 days are over? And will the province announce what it's doing one way or another a day before, a couple days before? How will that work?
Well, Lucas, another great question. We're working with our health team, and I can't give you 100%, but really the message, what I'm saying, and a lot of our cabinet, we need to take a surgical approach. And I've always said this, is some regions are very large geographical areas, and I'll give you an example, Peel. You know, we've seen a few bumps in the road with Mississauga and Brampton and Caledon. They're complaining that they're getting punished because the numbers are escalating in other regions. I think a surgical approach would be a lot better. We're working with all the mayors in all the different regions, be it York region and Peel and Toronto and Ottawa. The good news is we're seeing a little bit of a decline, but make no mistake about it. Please do not let our guard down. We can't. It happened before, and it just spiked up. So we see a little bit of good news. I say little. And Dr. Brown, I believe, is going to be out at 3 o'clock to talk about the trends. So I think it is good news.
Follow-up.
And if you could say, if you know what the plan is about how that will be announced, if it's a day or 2 days before. But also with that, I do have a question for Minister Downey.
Sure.
Minister, your ministry has already said that an independent review of why Calvin Hoover was not identified as a suspect in the Christine Jessup murder, which is being called on by the Jessup family, among others, would be premature because Toronto police are collecting tips. Once that part is over, once the TPS portion of this is done, will you commit to one afterwards?
What I commit to is that we will let the Toronto Police Service do their job and collect the evidence and collect more information. We'll have to make a fully formed decision at that point in time.
Next question.
Next question comes from Sean Gibson at barrietoday.com. Please go ahead.
Hi, Sean. How you doing?
people in the region are thinking that our numbers are doing fairly well right now,
Yeah.
Mr. Premier. What are your thoughts on Barrie and the Simcoe-Muskoka region's COVID numbers?
I think you're doing fairly well as well. And I give a lot of credit, and a lot of it, to the mayor for his leadership, my local MPPs for their leadership, but most of all, and I'm sure they'll agree, it's the people. The people here in Barrie, Innisfil region, they're following protocols. They're practicing social distancing, wearing face masks. They're doing great. And so just keep it up, folks. You're doing great. And things are booming here in Barrie and in Innisfil. They really are. And it's a beautiful place to move. Right by the lake. It's gorgeous. Great companies, great people, great schools. So if you're ever planning to move, get a little bit out of the city, I'd take a look at Innisfil and Barrie. They have some great communities being built there.
Follow-up?
Is there any way, regions that may have higher numbers, is there any way if they get put back into phase 2, or could it instead be that maybe the places that were the establishments, maybe the gyms or the restaurants that were the cause of it would be punished and not all of the gyms and restaurants at once? Is there a way to determine that, or is that just too hard to do?
Well, again, I'm a business guy. I can't stand closing any businesses. These poor folks trying to keep their head above water. We're there to support them, and I just want to take more of a, as I say, a surgical approach, and not paint a broad brush across any industry, no matter if it's gyms, small boutique gyms, or large gyms, or be it any restaurants. Folks, we got to help these people out, and no matter how much money, and we're pouring literally billions into businesses across the province. As a restaurant owner that I talked to the other night said, nothing is better than letting me open, even under modified conditions. And we're working on modified conditions. We're working on coming up with a safe plan with collaboration with all the local mayors and local health teams. And then we'll make a decision before this 28 days runs out. But my goal is to keep people employed and keep people moving forward.
Last question?
Last question comes from Crystal Hogue at Global National. Please go ahead.
Hi, Crystal. How you doing?
Hi, Premier Ford.
Hi.
So you've said mental health is a priority for your government during the pandemic, and you've committed mental health, including a service called MindBeacon. But we're hearing clients are being turned away if they have a history with substance abuse and suicide attempts, and MindBeacon can't help with cases they deem more serious. Many Ontarians have histories with addictions and suicidal thoughts. What do you say to them, and why they can't get free support now when they badly need it?
Well, this is the first I've heard about it, but what I can do is promise the people that are having challenges right now, I'll talk to the Minister of Health. I'll follow up with the organization that you've said, and we'll be on it, because we are a government that's putting more money into mental health than any time in the past. It's $3.8 billion that we're investing into mental health, and especially now. Mental health is so important. I always say to our health, how do you measure mental health? How do you measure depression when someone loses their home, loses everything they have because they couldn't keep their business open, and no fault of their own either? So we're on it. Minister Tabolo is a great minister for Minister Health, and we'll be on it. I promise you that. They will hear from the minister by the end of the day today.
Follow-up?
And on that, a lot of those people, I mean, they were experiencing these mental health issues prior to the pandemic, and now are having a lot of trouble accessing proper supports. So there's not enough services. How much of a priority is that for you going forward?
It's the number one priority. We're the only government that's actually had a minister to take care of mental health ever in the history of Canada. We're the only government that's put $3.8 billion into mental health. I take it very serious. And by the way, I keep saying mental health. I want to add mental health and addiction. When I first came into office, they said mental health. I said, no, it's mental health and addiction. So we're helping people with addictions, and we're seeing, again, through some tough times, we're seeing more addiction issues that we have to address as well. But we're onto it. I promise you we're onto that, and I'll follow up with the Minister of Health. And I gotta tell everyone, we gotta look at the glass is half full. Like, we're going through such tough times, and a lot of people are going through tough times. But in saying that, as Minister Fedeli said, we have more manufacturing jobs that have been created by great entrepreneurs than even before the pandemic. We're putting more money into healthcare, that's $7.7 billion, and that's just the beginning, than we did prior to the pandemic. So again, we're putting together a stronger health team. We're putting more money into long-term care, and finally fixing the problem that's been broken for 40 years, putting $1.7 billion into building rapid builds for long-term care, plus another $500 million into that as well. So there's a lot of education, for example. We've learned a lot when it comes to education. Again, we have the best plan. It's working. It's proven. And so things are, very tough on some sides. But once we get through this, we will have this economy on fire like this province, this country has never seen before. We'll be back to asking for more people to come to Canada as we did before this pandemic. We were short 250,000 people to fill the jobs. We will succeed that once again with the support of everyone, all 14.5 million people here in Ontario. So
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. You have a great day. Thank you.